Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Uh, Hope you had a good, safe weekend. Kind of a challenge sometimes. We were at services last night, and there were fireworks going off all over the place, and some of them were some loud booms. And even though fireworks are illegal in our city, they still happened. But anyway, we got through it. We survived, and the poor pets, they just we just had to keep them doped up. All right, let's get into our lesson. We said enough about personal stuff. We're going to talk about personal work motivators. You know, personal work is essential for growth, for our growth, for the growth of the church. And if we don't do the work, then no work is going to get done. I mean, plain and simple. And unfortunately, our attitude is not always as it should be towards personal work. People don't mind work getting done, but when it gets personal, then they have a problem with it. And sometimes we get tired and discouraged because we sometimes see little success from our efforts. And then the devil steps in and starts whispering, well, what's the use? No one wants to hear the Bible anymore. And you know what? We start believing that. We start accepting that. And then we say, yeah, what's the use in trying to teach? And so we tend to agree to that. So we start to convince ourselves that we can do all our personal work by just setting an example. And we think, well, that'll be sufficient. Let our light shine. That's all the work we need to do. And many of us have felt something like this at one time or another. And not even elders, deacons, teachers, and preachers are immune to this attitude. And so all of us having faced the temptation firsthand. And we're going to give a list of motivators to help adjust an improper attitude. And I'm going to print this out. I'm going to post this on my page. And you can get that. Right now I have 39 of them. I have scripture reference to go with it, but for the sake of time, we're just going to go through and make the points, and then you check out the list and check up the scriptures that are going with them. All right, let's start off with number one. You can't lose them all. I mean, the law of averages guarantees you will win some sooner or later. So hang in there and stick with it. Number two, at any given time, it is reasonable to say that 1% or more of your area population is interested in a Bible topic. And so it's a matter of fishing until you find them and then developing a friendly relationship. Number three, when digging for diamonds, you have to go through a lot of dirt. The same is true when searching for honest hearts. But it's worth it. All right, number four, sincere efforts in evangelism please God, even if we don't change the world by our efforts. You know, that's a very good point. God wants us to do this. And so when we do it, God's going to be happy with us. Now, whether we see any results, whether we make any changes or not, well, that's a different story. That's really not on us, though. That's on the people who hear. Number five, there is no set quota that you must fill. God simply requires that you keep trying all the way until the end. Eventually, you'll lead someone to Jesus. Number six, not even Jesus had a 100% success rate, so why should we expect to convert everyone we approach? In fact, sometimes Jesus was told, hey, get out of here. We don't want you around here anymore. You're causing too much disruption. And so, a lot of them did not believe him. All right, number seven, facing the challenge of evangelism indicates maturity. Avoiding the challenge indicates immaturity. I mean, think about that. All right, number eight, doing what you can in evangelism shows you care for the lost. I mean, talk is cheap and actions do speak louder than words. So keep that in mind. Number nine, doing what you are able to do in evangelism shows you understand God desires for Christians to do what they are able to do. Yes, we're all able to do it, and we should be doing it. A lot of times we just don't do it. All right, number 10. Doing what we are able to do in evangelism shows we care for the local work. I mean, the local congregation. Yes, we could use some more people. We could use more of the financial income from the contributions. And yeah, I mean, that builds us up, makes us stronger. Number 11, the few, or some cases many successes you have will be worth all the effort. And they will be the most valuable successes of your life. And so that's why we do this. That's why we get on the internet and present these lessons. That's why we have a website and put that information out there for people. We're just trying to help people do this. All right. Number 12. You can't catch fish if you don't keep your baits in the water. Now, be a persistent fisherman. You're not a loser until you quit. I mean, that's some solid advice right there. And number 13, going along with that, persistence will pay off. Eventually it will, yes. And then, of course, number 14, continuous effort and contact bring you closer to success. As long as you keep making the effort, you get a contact a potential convert, and you work with them closer. And you just might have that success you want. Number 15, every effort when viewed in retrospect will probably teach you something and move you further up the ladder of maturity. You know, you teach someone and you're not successful. What you learn something from that. I mean, great scientists have said you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. And I think Edison said something along that line. All right, number 16. It is not your individual responsibility to convert the entire world, but rather to make an honest, sincere, and continuous effort in the area where you live. I've said this many times in my sermons. Yeah, we read that go and teach all the world. Well, that's kind of overwhelming. That's nearly 8 billion souls now. No, our world, the world you live in, the people you come in contact with, that is your world. And so that's where you need to make the effort, and where you live, where you are. All right, number 17. There is life for the personal worker after someone says no. When we offer it, and they say no. Well, we take that and we try and think, what did we do wrong, or what did we not say right? And next time we're trying to teach someone, we bring in the acquired information that we have. And so we do continue. Just because someone says no, they haven't said no to you, they've said no to Christ. And that's what Christ said. And if they say no to me, they're saying no to God the Father. All right, number 18. There is no greater challenge than that of becoming proficient in personal evangelism. And few exercise the self-discipline necessary to become proficient at personal evangelism. Will you be one of them? Yeah, it takes effort. Everything about being a Christian takes effort. If you think it's a life of ease and you don't have to put forth any effort, you've got the wrong idea about Christianity and, of course, our responsibility and duty to evangelize others. Number 19, what better way to express your love and appreciation to God and others than through personal evangelism? I mean, that's how you demonstrate your love for God. You want to get other people involved as well. Number 20, success in evangelism is one of the greatest feelings on earth. It's great to fall asleep with a smile on your face. I mean, go for it. I mean, do this. I mean, if you care about someone enough to share the gospel with them, you're going to be so excited when they accept and obey the gospel. All right, number 21. Doing evangelistic work is active involvement in life. It is not being a spectator, a bystander, or a couch potato. It is participation in life. It's really living. having a part in life, making a difference, and having a purpose. I mean, there's a mouthful right there, but that's true. I mean, what's your life worth? Is it making any effort? And do you really have a purpose in life? If you don't, try and share the gospel. All right, number 22, it is my legal, constitutional, and God-given right to approach anyone in a polite manner and endeavor to interest them in the Bible. I mean, that's true. We do have that. We have the free exercise of religion, and our religion tells us we need to evangelize. So we can do it. I know some places it's probably not appropriate, like in the workplace, you don't want to spend all your time trying to proselytize or convert people at work, but if you strike up a conversation, bring God into the picture, and who knows, you might be able to set up a private Bible study. So that's what we can do. Number 23, Ecclesiastes says eternity is in the heart of man and every man, and God put it there. So the prospect may have buried it deep and denies that it is there, but it is there, and we can appeal to it. Man has not changed. He is the same as ever. We know that. And God doesn't change. So somehow, somewhere along the line, even though people try and suppress their understanding that eternity is going to be a long time, we still have that opportunity to dig down deep and help someone find it. Number 24, set a good example for the congregation. Do personal work. I mean, that's what we should do. And, you know, sometimes we want to be humble and not share this information, but you know what? If we can share this, that we went out and did personal work, it might motivate someone else to say, well, if he or she can do it, I can do it. And so it doesn't take a lot. So it can be done. So let others know that you're involved in what you're doing. And if nothing more, ask them to pray that your efforts will be successful. All right. Number 25. A barren Christian is a contradiction of terms. Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, really. A Christian that does nothing is really not a Christian. A Christian is one who follows the master and does what the master says. A person that does nothing is not really a Christian at all. So our job is not, number 26, our job is not just to hold the fort, but rather to storm the heights also. Yeah, like Jude 3 says, contend earnestly for the faith. All right, so yeah, and some people think, well, we'll just set up our defense around the perimeter of the church and we'll only let the truth in, and that's one thing, but then taking the truth out to those who need it. I mean, that's what personal evangelism is all about. All right, number 27, the world is seeking someone to follow and will follow someone. Will it be Jesus or Satan? Yeah, I mean, you have to admit, most of the people are just followers. They're sheeple. That's a term given to them. But sheep follow. That's what they do. And they don't know anything else. And they're not leaders. Someone has to lead them. A shepherd or the sheepdog has to lead them in the direction they need to go. And most people just follow whatever comes along. And if they're following Satan, then they're going to do the things of Satan and not of God. So let's get people to start following Jesus. Number 28, people are hungry for a better way of life. I mean, that goes without saying. Everybody wants a better way of life. Most people do. And we can show them the better way that Jesus offers. I mean, that's what we can do. I mean, there is a better life, and really our physical circumstances don't really have to change that much. It's the attitude that we can develop when we have Jesus in our life. Number 29, faith is a natural part of man. He believes in many things. You know, people put their trust in their doctors, their dentists, their banks, their news reports, history and friends, etc. And he can also believe in God if he chooses to do so. She can also. And so that's what we need to try and get them to do, is to believe in God. And if they believe in God, they're going to believe in what God did by sending his son, and knowing that God gave his son the authority, listen to the son. And so listen to Jesus. Number 30, Satan cannot stop you. If you choose to go out and evangelize, Satan cannot stop you. Now, we know he puts obstacles in our way. He tries and prevents us. We have plans. Okay, we're going to go do this. We have a flat tire. We get in an auto accident, or something else comes up. It starts raining. I mean, any number of things. And we just attribute that to Satan. But a lot of times, our failures come because we have basically called it upon ourselves to feel that way. And so Satan cannot stop you. Number 31. Let's face it, there's no magic formula. If the church is going to grow, we must work. I mean, think about that. A lot of congregations, they're not growing. And why? How much work is getting done? Not a lot. Well, you'll have to be honest. Not a lot. So we must work if our church is going to grow. And number 32, nothing worthwhile is ever easy. You know, like they say, no pain, no gain. We got to put forth an effort if we're going to be successful. I mean, imagine a ball team that doesn't put forth any effort. They're never going to win a game. But the team that puts forth the efforts, yes, they can not only win the game, they can go on and win the championship. So nothing worthwhile is ever easy. And number 33, if one idea doesn't work, try another one. Never, never, never quit. I mean, let's face it. You try one approach, it didn't work. Try a different approach. I mean, if you're learning, if you're trying to mature, you'll learn from your failures. All right. Number 34. Today is a new day. Forget yesterday's failures and move on. I mean, let's face it. That applies not only just in evangelism, but our Christian living and everything else that we do. We have today. Forget about tomorrow. Forget what lies in the past. Look at today, what we can do today to help us get to tomorrow. All right, number 35. God doesn't reward laziness, but he does reward diligence. We know that's the case. We know that's true. Number 36. Personal work is like swimming in cold water. You're uncomfortable at first, but after a while, you don't want to get out. I mean, that depending on how cold the water is. I mean, it could be dangerous if it's too cold of water. But still, yeah, it's starting something new is always a challenge, and it might be difficult at first. But once you get acclimated to it, it's just like getting a new job. First few weeks, you're still trying to figure out what's going on and how things operate. Then once you figure that out, you start clicking with the rest of them, and you fit in as you're supposed to. Number 37. When you evangelize, you are part of the solution. I mean, remember that. You're part of the solution. And when you don't, you're part of the problem. And so that's true. You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. There is no neutral ground in there. You're one or the other, just like Jesus said. You're with me or against me. Number 38. See, even if you are on the right track, you'll still get run over if you just sit there. I mean, that's a point that we can understand. See, Christianity is described as a race. It's a race that we need to run with endurance. It's also a race that we need to run within the rules. And so, get up and get moving. And then number 39, the last one we'll do, the crucifixion. Think about that. How can we just sit idle when Jesus suffered and died that we might have the hope of salvation? And realize that he did it for everyone, not just you and me. So think about those things. There you have it. And these thoughts were probably put together by many sources. I found the list on the internet and thought them worthy to share. I even turned them into a sermon one time. So feel free to add to this list whenever you choose. Maybe one or more of these thoughts will be of help to you when facing discouragement. And keep the list handy. And if you start getting discouraged, refer to it and adjust your attitude before the problem becomes too serious and you just give up altogether. So consider those thoughts. There's things we need to understand about our personal work and effort, and it's our duty. So think about those things. Like I say, I'm going to post this with all the scripture references in just a moment. So you have a good day now, and Lord willing, we'll be with you again tomorrow for another message. Bye-bye for now.